Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all having a nice day. I see you guys are all slowly joining in. So we would start off with today's session and record this session as well. So for some of you who haven't, who probably do not end up attending the session, a copy will be sent to you. So I guess with today's session of Actionstep Express, my name is Disha Moses, and I have with me my colleague, Luke Eiserman. So Luke, do you want to say hi?
Hey there. Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well.
Great. So for today's session of Express, we would be going through our agenda today, which is basically going to take you through a navigation of the Actionstep homepage, the main matter screens and your day-to-day use of Actionstep. We will also be sharing with you some nuggets on remote working or virtual working, on matter management with an Actionstep, some great reports with an Actionstep to access your firm's visibility across billing, matter, and trust reports as well. And then we'll also talk you through some of the great integrations that we have with third-party products like Office 365, Xero, and Gmail. And right at the end, if we could ask you to reserve your questions at the end and send them through in the questions bar at the bottom, we'll be happy to answer and address them as well. So if you're interested in Express, what makes it one of the best platforms around in the market today is that, for one, it is an all-in-one system. So in my 3.5 years of dealing with legal tech and legal professionals, they look for an all-in-one system to run their entire practice. So that perfect all-in-one repository. So that is exactly what Express will provide to you. Also provides you with the space where you can use any device, whether it's a Mac or a PC, on a mobile, tablet, or iPad. Also, you do get to keep your data. It's all backed up in the cloud, and a full copy can be provided on request. Also, there are no upfront costs, no implementation fees, and it's robust security, so your data is kept highly safe as well. Now, in terms of the security of Actionstep, we do take that very seriously. And in terms of hosting your information and backing your information, that's all done in Australia, where we use Amazon Web Services infrastructure. And your information is kept secure, encrypted, and we also conduct a number of independent security and financial audits as well on an annual basis. Furthermore, we also have things like system roles, permissions, password policies, location restrictions to ensure the security of your system. And as a global company with locations around the globe, it means you receive 24/7 support. You're not locked into any contract. You can scale up and down as you need without any contract, and as well as be on a native cloud platform as well. Now, finding your way around Actionstep, I do have a live system that I'd be taking you through to give you the highlights. Now, one of the best things about using a system like Actionstep is that we were born in the cloud. You don't install anything on your device, and getting access to your Actionstep account is just as easy as going on our website and logging in with your credentials. So Actionstep goes where you go. Now, as you see, this is the default homepage of Actionstep. So we've designed this keeping in mind you have a very busy day ahead, so planning ahead of time and one of the first things that you do in the day is crucial. So up the top, you have access to all the key features, your matters, your matter billing, tasks, and all these icons here. On the left, it syncs with your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar and gives you a heat map of the month. It also has appointments, helps you plan your day better, and tasks, which are things that arise from matters that you're responsible to be completing as well. So it helps you plan your day a lot better here. So it's just basically a snapshot of how your day is going to be looking like and helps you plan better. On the right, we've got the scratch pad. You can think of this as an electronic equivalent of a yellow post-it note. So the idea is whether you're on your cell phone, out and about on a jog, or you're working on a matter and you get interrupted by a phone call, that always does happen. So you can the idea is you could basically quickly jot down your notes by clicking on this icon here, add your notes in, and once you're done, you can convert this into a new file note on a matter, email, or any of these things. What's really nice to know is that these scratchpad nodes are your view of the world. So no one else can see it if there are other system users who you might be sharing your Actionstep account with. And these can be junked or converted into more useful things as your day goes by. Recent activity just keeps a track of what you've been doing within your Actionstep account and helps you access things via hyperlinks as well. On the top, you've got your search bar. So searching for matters within Actionstep is one of the easiest things you're going to be doing, as it does a keyword search within your Actionstep account. So whether you are searching for matters by, a keyword that you remember, perhaps the client's name, you could do that perhaps, or the ID, or even a unique reference that you may have for the matter. So that's how easy it is. And furthermore, you have to create anything new on Actionstep. You click on this plus icon here. Furthermore, to create a new matter, you click on this icon here, and you have all these list of options available. Now, before we dive in deep into this, I would like to also share with you one of the most important icons that you would spend a lot of time as you start using your Actionstep account. So where all the magic happens, which is the admin bar. So the first things that you might have done is added your logo, add your terms of use, add your payment terms, perhaps also added your trust account, but you can also add other system users, set up with third-party integrations, add any kind of automated reminders for any kind of specific flows of matter types as well by clicking into those icons in here. So you can have auto-assigned tasks reminding you what needs to be done when, which is pretty handy. So this is really where all the magic happens. So you would really want to be doing all your configuration in here and setting up your system preferences, email setup. So it's really clearly designed to really help you navigate and set up your preferences based on your own style, really, in here. Now, if we were to go back into basically any of the matters here and you search for them in here, I've got a sample matter ready here for you to basically discuss through some of the key things. Now, this is what we call is an e-file, a matter that you essentially share that I'm currently sharing with you. This is essentially the name of the matter. Your client on the right-hand side, very nice and handy. So the whole idea is that you have access to an electronic file handy, ready for you, whether you're in court, you're at home, all at hand's reach. So we have this beautiful workflow, so which are the major milestones of the matter. It tells you where the matter is sitting or the matter stage. And for everything else that you need to know about this specific matter, it is available in these icons and these panels in here. So let us go through these very, very quickly. So one of the most important things that people do want to see are the documents, which are quite vital for any lawyer, any legal professional working on a matter. So they are quite easily located in here, as you can see. So these friendly looking icons actually indicate what each of these icons mean. And you can click through these and essentially go through these icons in detail. So for any matter, all the documents are always located in this icon here that you can view by clicking in here through the browse icon. So you've got all your folder structures for the matter sitting in here that you can also create new folder structures on the fly. You see how easy it is. And the great thing about the document management system is that you're really never going to run out of space. So you could store any type and any number of documents with an Actionstep or within your matter and Actionstep. We do have a fair use policy, so you are able to store things like video footage, PDFs, images, anything within the matter, and Actionstep will retain the native format of your document. So you have uncapped storage space, create your own folder structure, so you have your own naming convention. You never need to subscribe to Dropbox, OneDrive, or any of these other things. It's all located all in here. And your emails. So Actionstep does store your documents in one place and emails in a separate place in here. So based on the integration that we have with Microsoft Office 365, Outlook, or Gmail, you have the ability to file your emails into Actionstep, and that's how they look. As you can see, these are subject lines, who it was from. You can also compose your emails from Actionstep as well. This is very handy, and track them in the ascending or descending order when they were received. So very nice and handy. You also have filters as well, so where you could search for a specific email based on these filters available as well. So that's your document management with an action step. And then we have some of the other key things like parties. So who are the parties involved within the matter? So you have clear visibility of who are the parties involved, and you can also have multiple parties or multiple contacts to against the same party as well. So really, really clear. And then you have file notes. So this really replaces your manila file with your handwritten notes. So if we go in here, the idea is you can add your notes on the file, and we have these really interesting icons or tags, as we call them. So you can really filter through these tags and search for specific file notes. So some matters in the past, as some legal professionals have told me that, I wish there were systems which had optical character recognition, and, there were lots of these file notes, and we do want to be looking through these fairly quickly to find what we're looking for. So with the idea of basically creating a file note and using tags to search for them specifically and save time, that can easily be done. Now, as we go through these, some of the other important things are that may catch your fancy and you'd be interested in to know is the billing. So you create a matter, you store your documents, you do all your matter-related work, and you do want to basically generate an invoice and get paid for your services. So with an action step, we've made it extremely simple. So what we have is when you do set up on admin, you set up your logo, you add your terms of use. We do have the provision of 5 specific templates for you to choose from. So, you could definitely make changes to any of these things as needed. But you have 5 invoice templates to choose from. You can choose your default, your payment terms. You can easily make adjustments to fees and disbursements as needed. So it's very nice and easy to make any adjustments to draft line items on your invoice. Or add additional notes as well. So this is often a very frequently asked question by some of the users of Actionstep. So we have inserted a little tab where you can add additional notes as needed on the invoice as needed. And all you do is save and approve, and the invoice gets sent electronically to your client with this beautiful template, your logo, ready for the client to pay for your services. Now, as you look at the billing icon within the matter, we have these different icons in here to tell you what's been invoiced and what's not across your fees, disbursements, payments, your trust balance as well. So it really gives you an overall visibility of the position for the matter as well. And you just basically click on invoice now and you generate an invoice. So that's how easy it is. Now, if you do operate a trust account, you could quickly click on the icon here on overview, and it tells you your balance of the trust current and investment accounts, any money that's owed to the firm with, based on any kind of outstanding invoices that you see in here. There's $1,200 in here. So that's money owed to the firm. And it also gives you the client's, the net client balance for this specific matter, as you can see, and also all matters as well. Now, with an action step, we have our trust accounting module is one of the most recent developments that we've done. So it is less than 3.5 years old, I'd say. So it's a very easy to use trust accounting module that we have within the platform. It is trust compliant across Australia and in New Zealand by the ITO Fuel Law Societies as well. So whilst you do make payments, receive funds, Actionstep auto-generates receipts for you, which can be accessed in the transaction history of the matter. And the main navigation bar for trust gives you a summary of all the receipts across all matters, payments, and you also have the ability to send out statements in bulk to your clients. So this is a huge time saver where you can send out your trust statements in bulk to your clients from Actionstep, which is a very handy feature to have. So you spend less time doing this. And we also have trust reports as well built in. So as we talk about the trust reports, we have every report that you need for a successful trust audit. So the great thing again about the trust reports is that you can basically go back in time. So there's no more printing paper that's required. So the idea is that when you do perform a trust reconciliation, you import your bank statement of your trust account into Actionstep, perform your reconciliation, and all that information from your trust reconciliation gets fed into the trust reports, which are easily accessible on screen or on PDF or any of these formats here on screen. It's a very modern way of operating, as we're all embracing virtual ways of working and working remotely and being more efficient. This is one of the great ways of doing this within the platform. Now, across as we go into the matter, or just into this specific matter as we were working on it, as you could see, you have access to all the key features handy available and also available amongst these panels in here as well that you can choose from if you found that easier to access information. We also have your time entry, so you have the ability to either have a timer located right at the bottom, which you could start, so time starts ticking away, and you can then, once you're done, you can move this to a timesheet, or even better, we do have firms who do prefer having that timesheet open on a separate tab, like I have, and it gives you a snapshot of your week. So it tells you, how have you been tracking throughout the week on each of the days, and we obviously do have built-in WIPP reports and time entry reports to give you snapshots in billable dollars as well. So over here, as you can see, it's telling me how much time I've tracked across the week. So 7%, 31%, and it gives me a breakdown of the time that I've worked, time that I've built, and also makes some very intelligent suggestions to me as well on based on my activities that I would have performed within the matter. So far this morning, it tells me this is some of the unaccounted time that I could account for and charge my client for. So definitely worth a view. And your disbursements as well, that can be done by clicking on this plus icon here. And so are your time entries. So it's very nicely designed, as you could see. It's very, very user-friendly. You choose your matter. You have quick codes to save you time. You can essentially add new quick codes as well. So if you say it's a client meeting, you add your description. And add your time in units, minutes, or hours. 1 unit, you add that in. We have all your rate labels ready to go. Or if you do have a fixed fees as well, that can be done or adjusted. So I'm just going to choose one of the labels here, and I can click save. Now on the right, as you see, as you do add your time, we also have your WIPP, any kind of accounts receivable, and also if there are any estimates which have been made as well, it will also be shown in here on the right-hand side. So great visibility here. So I guess as the next step for us is, as we all prepare to work in these very, very unprecedented times, I've got Luke Eiserman, who would now be showing you on ways of collaboration and using automation within the Actionstep system to proceed. So Luke, do you want to take it over?
Sure. I have noticed we're a little low on time, but I will go through some of the most important things that I think you guys should know about team collaboration, or just using the remote features. I know that you covered quite a lot of it in that session, Disha, and I just don't want to take too much time doing that. So give me 1 second. I will share my screen here. All right, how's that looking? Can you see my screen there? Perfect. All right, so what you can see here is the screen that Disha just walked you through. Now, essentially, one thing to note is the matter stages along the top. You may see this ribbon here that goes from initial consultation, engagement, and progress wrap-up, and then closed. Now, for each matter type, this is going to be different. Where this is quite useful is it can help you to keep track of where the matter is at different stages. So you can see here that the bright green color means that that's the current stage that it's sitting at, but we can move it to close simply by clicking on that closed icon or that closed tab there, and then it allows me to change some of the properties, add a file note, and change step. I'm not going to do it on this one because that will close off the matter, but in that case, it will allow you to keep track across your team, or if you're the only one managing it, it does allow you to keep track of exactly what stage that's at. Okay, so we've covered parties and file notes quite well, so I'm not going to jump into those ones. Into auto tasks, so that's something I'll touch on, is in admin. I know Disha did mention auto tasks here, but they're a really great way for you to be able to automate some of those recurring processes that you've got going on. So if I go into auto assign tasks here, I have the ability, so firstly I can view any that have been created previously, but in this case I'm going to go ahead and click auto assign task, and then I can choose which meta type it's created for, as there's a various number of meta types that you can create in the system. So in this case I might create one for, let's try to find the general matter. Okay, and I'll choose the engagement step in the process. Okay, so I can go assign task to, so I'm going to assign this to the lawyer, and then I'm going to make it a required task. And then, for example, this one can be send engagement letter to client. Okay, ensure an engagement letter, can't spell, it doesn't matter, is sent. Okay, now I can set it to how long after the step change that is created. So I'm going to set it to 1 weekday after the step change, and I'm going to have a completion rule that you can either choose it must be completed before you move on to a step. In this case, I'm actually going to say it must be completed before I can leave the step engagement. Okay, so an engagement letter has to be sent before you leave engagement, and you can also set that a time entry is automatically created off the back of that if you have a consistent time entry. Okay, go ahead and hit save. All right, and now that is currently operating. So every time now for a matter that I switch over to when I move to engagement, it's going to create that automatic task, and it won't let me move off engagement unless I've completed that. Okay, so that's a little feature that is really useful to be able to manage a consistent workflow if you've got it. Okay, meta emails, I believe we did touch on that. So that's just under the comms section or the email section of a matter. You have the ability very easily under this section here just to see all the emails that you have attached from the Outlook plugin. So either the Outlook or the Google plugin. If you've used either of those, you can actually, I'll have a look here. I'll open one up. As you can see that Disha has attached this through one of our plugins. You can see it here, and any attachments that have come through against this this email as well will be clickable underneath this attachment section here. So everything is in one place, and again, it allows you to keep all your information in one central location. Okay, documents Disha covered very well. One thing I will do here is I'm just going to quickly show you what it looks like to upload a document. It's fairly standard if you've ever used a system like this before, document system, which I am sure you have. Okay, so you can just find, here's an engagement letter for one of our test databases. You essentially choose where you upload that to. You can choose to put a tag against it. So if it's an important document, you can actually search for it as an important document. And then I can choose, which file that goes into. Okay, standard, pretty easy to use. And then you can then open this either through Office Online into Office via the Actionstep plugin, or you can open it into Google Docs straight from here and save it back once you're done with that. Okay. And then the last thing to touch on just for team collaboration will be the calendars. So one of the great things about Actionstep is that not only can you see all the information in the same place regarding file notes and documents, but also the calendars. So I can see here against this matter, Disha has created an appointment, and I can see very easily here what the time is for that appointment, what the title of it is, and what and that is for her calendar there. Okay, so that's just an overview of the collaboration features or some of that remote working features. But I think for the sake of time, let's jump back to you, Disha, and we'll go touch on reporting. You there, Disha?
Yes, I am. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Luke.
Perfect.
So
No
thanks
problem.
for taking us over that. Great. So I am just going to share my screen with you. Hey. Okay, so I guess the next bit of what we thought we would share with you, which would be extremely valuable, are the reports. So I'm going to take you through some of the key reports, which we think would be really, really useful as you scale, as you grow your practice, and understand what are some of the most profitable areas and areas of improvement. So some of the basic reports that we have, which include, the WIPP report, or it's the matter balances report, or the WIPP report. Sorry, I think these are just killing, so I'm just going to change these just so that they stay. And we'll go through these reports one by one. So Actionstep has a number of reports across trust accounting, billing, and your matters, which are all built into Actionstep. Now, across all matters that are available within the system, they can all be exported, so they can be sliced and diced for further information that you might be looking for. However, we do endeavor that the reports that are available within the system are present in here. So as we go through these, sorry, it looks like I'm having a technical glitch where it is just going through. So I'm just going to click onto one of them so that they stay. Okay, it looks like they're running. So I'm just going to have to jump into a live system and show you these reports as they're playing up. So can you guys can you just confirm that you could see the screen of the live system across these reports?
I can see your screen. You could just leave those unmaximized, those reports, and you could show them there again. Up to you.
Okay.
But yeah,
No,
we can see the screen.
Okay, perfect. Okay, because that's what I did. And okay, so actually for some reason they aren't staying. They are going through, it seems like they're on a timer. So I'm just going to jump into a live system and I'm going to show you some of these reports. So they're handy and you are aware of where they are, how do you locate them, and the content in there. So as mentioned, so we are again back into a Live Express account, and we have some of these reports which are built into the system. Some of the key reports that you would be interested in, for instance, the WIPP report. So that gives you a breakdown of your work for the day. So if I just go on to today's date, you could basically look at the work that you've done for the day. It gives you a breakdown of your time and the amount that you've charged out across all the matters. So as you can see, it's for the 1st of April, and I am generated by me, and I'm the responsible lawyer here. So these are the different matters. It tells me time that I've worked and the amount. So in this instance, there were fees, and these were my expenses, and it gives me the totals for these two matters. And right at the bottom, as we see, we've also got the firm summary as well. So very, very handy. And as we go back into these billing reports, and the other handy ones are your also have the time and fee entries report. So as we place them, as you could see, there are a lot of filters as well for you to choose from. So you could choose the fee earner, you could perhaps choose, the date, you can group the date, or you have a few other group of details that you can choose from to really slice and dice your information without exporting, which is quite handy. And also some advanced filters as well that you can choose and select information. So the idea is that you continue using Actionstep. You don't have to actually work out of Actionstep when you are conducting these reports. So as such as over here, as you could see, this is my report essentially just for today. So it gives me a breakdown of my matter, and it gives me a breakdown of time that I worked, time that I billed, essentially, and also gives me a breakdown of those of the kind of work that I've done. So it tells me it was, I had a few client meetings and I had a phone call. So this is basically the description that you would have added when you entered your time entry, or added the time entry or the line entry to charge the client. So it has a bit of a memo here, and also gives you a breakdown of whether it was a fixed fee or it was time-based billing. Gives you a breakdown of that, and also the firm summary as well for the day. So the work, the time that you would have done, where you might not have charged, but you could have charged in these other spaces, and it gives you a bit of a summary in here. So the nice thing about this is that you could essentially filter through, put in your own custom date for the date or month to track that as well, or just choose today's date as needed. Now, across some of the other reports which are also useful that I highly recommend having a look at are, again, your matter balances report as well. So it gives you a snapshot across, for a specific timeline across all the matters that were created during that time as well, and the work that had been done. So it gives you pretty clear visibility of matters during that time period. You've got client profitability, so it's also helpful to understand who are your big clients and how do you kind of position and grow and scale and add more kind of strategies to grow similar clients as well. So that's a standard built-in feature of Actionstep as well. And obviously, as you grow, you definitely do need a basic conflict check report, which is nice and easy. You do a keyword search and it brings across results, so you don't have to wait for a day. You just click on that report and conduct your conflict check. Now, this is available in here as well, and also in here, conveniently located for you to access and conduct your conflict check reports. And a few other reports that are obviously a pretty standard feature of Actionstep that are in there. And obviously all the trust reports that we mentioned that you would ever need for a successful audit. So that's actually from me. That's all that I wanted to discuss with you. And Luke now is going to discuss things like scalability, and as you make business continuity plans, as you use Actionstep and look for things that probably are beyond Express as well. Luke would be happy to discuss what are the other options you have as well as you scale and grow your practice.
Sure. Perfect. All right. Thanks for that. What I'll do is I'll just take the screen here. All right, so just before I jump into that, I'm just going to touch on some of the third-party integrations that we have, because I think it is worth us covering some of these, okay? So hopefully my PowerPoint online is not going to skip forward. We'll see. Only one way to find out, okay? So as you can see, we have a number of different integrations that are available with Express that you can actually use to your advantage. Now, so the first one is the Office plugin, or we also have a new Office 365 add-in if you use Office 365 rather than just the regular Office suite. So that's a great one that allows you to attach, mainly for the emails, I would say is the strongest functionality that we have there, is it allows you, as you've seen in Matters, is you can attach emails to Matters. Same with the Gmail plugin, and I'll walk you through what those look like when you're in those clients, those email clients, okay? We also have the Xero integration and the QuickBooks integration, which Disha has touched on. Now, if you're using Actionstep specifically for this team working during the COVID-19 situation that we've got going on, you may, and you only intend to use Actionstep in a short-term period, you may not want to integrate these accounting systems. That's one thing that we have mentioned in some of the documentation that you've been sent, is if you just want to use it for team working and just for uploading documents and file sharing and things like that, you may not want to integrate with your accounting system, because it will, it may be too complicated too soon for you. Now, by no means is it a complicated process to integrate either of those, but you just might be adding some extra steps for yourself down the line. Okay, so the Actionstep, you can choose to use it without those accounting packages, or you can choose to integrate with one of those two there. Okay, so we're going to dive into the 365 add-in, and this is quite a pretty much hot off the press plugin. And as you can see here, we're using GIFs to show you around the system. So the first thing is how do you actually open it? So the way you'll do it is in Actionstep. Once you've downloaded the add-in, so you can see just beside the Actionstep plugin there's a Get Add-ins button, a little red one. That's where you'll get the Outlook add-in from. Once it's downloaded, it's a fairly straightforward process. It's just step by step. You'll click on an email. I know this GIF is going pretty fast, I apologize, but you click on an email, you click on the Actionstep drop down there, as you can see here, and then that'll allow you to be able to open Actionstep, and you can see that the user here has pinned that so it doesn't go away. And essentially that then allows you to use the Actionstep plugin as you're working through your inbox, okay? So the next step will be assigning emails through the add-in. So here we have a list of suggestions, or in this case, this person's going and searching for their case that they know as Wilson. They find the case, they click on it, and then it'll allow them to assign it just like that, okay? You can also see it allows you to view different matter details through the plugin, which is actually super helpful if you're just trying to stay in your inbox and you don't necessarily want to leave. So you've got home, parties, file notes, time entries, and tasks. They all show from here, okay? So you can find great details about your matter without even leaving your inbox. Okay, and then we have the ability to save attachments. So there's a little paper clip there, and it allows you to select which attachments from this you'd like to save through the plugin. You click next, you choose which folder you'd like to save them to, and you can instantly save it to there. So it really does save a lot of time from having to jump back and forward between the two systems. Okay. You can also create a contact quite easily. I'm just going to wait for it to restart the GIF to show you where that button is. There's a little plus button on the top right there. Allows you to easily create a number of, not just contacts, file notes, time entries, and there was actually another one there. Excuse me for not knowing. Tasks, okay? So you can do that all from within that little plus button there. Okay, and now the Outlook plugin. Oh gosh, I apologize for how blurry this is. I didn't realize. But this essentially is the Outlook plugin. If you don't have Office 365, operates much the same way. The only difference is that instead of a bar on the right, it's a bar along the bottom. You search for the matter that you're looking for, and you click on it, and you can then assign emails to matters, and you can do a number of things like open details about the matters, see contact information, all of that, fairly the same way as the 365 plugin. Okay. And then the G Suite plugin, again, much the same. You once you've got it installed, you search for matters along that right-hand bar there. And then as you can see along the right hand, in this test matter we've got, you can see all the participants and the details regarding this one. Okay. So I'll quickly touch on the accounting integrations. Just so you're aware, those are one-way integrations. So when you create a bill in Actionstep, we recommend that you send that email out of the invoice out of Actionstep, because Actionstep, as Disha showed, had those great formatting capabilities. But when you send when you generate that invoice, Actionstep, once integrated with those accounting platforms, will generate a copy in those accounting platforms so that you have them for accounting and bookkeeping. Okay. Any payments you create in Actionstep as well will push through that one-way integration over to those systems there too. Okay. So here is essentially what Disha was talking about. What happens in October when the 6 months is over? We will reassess to see if the situation is all settled in 6 months. But essentially, the expectation is in 6 months. That's when we are offering the systems free tool. Now you have a couple of options here. The first one is to export your data. As Disha said before, you can get a full data export. It's going to cost you nothing. All you need to do is ask us, and we will be able to export that for you. But your data, we don't want to keep it if you want to pull it out of the system. Okay. There's no contracts or fees or anything like that for leaving, and there's no obligation to stay. So just so you know, you're not locked into anything if you decide to kind of put some data into Actionstep. All right. The other option there is you continue with Actionstep if you decide you like it. Now there are 3 plans available to you, and the reason I mention that is if you have a look around Actionstep and you decide that if you decide you love the Express product and it's perfect for what you're after, then that's great. The Express product essentially has been designed for solos specifically, because it is a really great kind of out-the-box plug-and-play solution, which is why we felt it would be a good good solution to offer in a time like this. But if you decided, hey, look, I want to use Actionstep, but what I'm seeing in the system isn't necessarily what I need, or I need some more beefy functionality, Practice Pro and Enterprise are our 2 plans up, just so you're aware that they do exist. Practice Pro allows more customized system processes. It allows you to customize document templates and to customize the steps in those workflows, create brand new workflows. It gives you access to download pre-configured workflows. And also things like client portals, so you can share documents with your clients with end-to-end encryption, and web forms. For example, you're able to collect leads from your website straight into your Actionstep system. So there's a number of things that we've created in the Pro system that streamline the whole process. And then Enterprise, I suppose, is another step up that opens up things like multiple divisions, or a fully fledged accounting system within Actionstep, and also multi currency is supported with that. So just so you're aware, those are the different next steps if you chose to stay with us. But again, no obligation, no pressure to do so. We just want to try help at a time like this. Okay. So we're going to open up for questions here. Now, in terms of how we're going to do this, maybe you can either put them in through chat or through our questions section, or I think that might be the best way to go. So if you have a question, feel free to chuck it through. Alternatively, we might be able to open up the mic to you. I'm not too sure if that'll be too complicated to do. but we'll definitely take written questions. So if you have them, please chuck them in. We'd love to be able to answer anything that you may be scratching your head about, or anything you've got questions on. Or just put it in the chat that you've got a question and we can unmute your mic. Either works.
Okay, looks like we have a question.
How do you send an invoice showing a discount which shows time incurred and the discounted amount? Are you showing it?
Yep. So we do actually have a
Okay.
discounts space within the as you generate an invoice. So
Do you want me to give you the screen there, Dish?
yeah, actually, what we can do is, yep, you can actually, yeah. Okay. Great, awesome. Thanks for your question. So essentially what we've done is if you go inside a matter and you click on the billing icon, which is generally the place you would go to generate an invoice or a bill, we've got matter billing settings in here. So here's where you can make changes, matter basically billing preferences that can be altered in here. So in here you have the ability to add a discount. So you basically can add a percentage or a fixed amount over here. And once you basically activate that and save it, essentially, you then go back into the invoice and you'd see a discount option with the box where you put in the amount for the discount, essentially.
And so that's also if you want to set that for that matter, right? If you just want to have a
Yes.
once-off discount, you can do that straight from within the invoice. So if you pull up the invoice there, and
Yes.
you just wanted to do not a recurring discount for this client, just a once-off, if you have this open, you have the
Yes.
ability here.
That's right. So what happens is once we do activate the discount option, you'd see a little, oh, actually in here as well, you can add a discount pretty easily. My bad, here. So we can, oh, sorry, where did that go? So we had add a discount, the amount, and you say, okay, it's $40 or the amount that I want. So that gets applied. So as you can see, that's a discount amount. So it is located right in here. You don't even actually need to go and make changes in the settings.
And also in terms of the just it's kind of relevant to what you're asking there. The in regards to which line items show on the invoice, if you click on those time entries that you got there, each time entry is a line
Yes.
items. If you can click on one of those, Dish, one of those line
Yes.
items on the invoice. Okay.
Yep.
So
So
each of those is
we,
a time entry. And if you click on that, you do have the ability to choose if you'd like them to show on the invoice or not. So that's some
oh
flexibility
yeah,
that you do have there. In the bottom left corner, you can choose to bill, hide, or no charge. Bill essentially means that you bill the client for it and it shows on the invoice. Hide means it doesn't show that time entry, but the totals are the same. And no charge just means it's not charged on the invoice. That's right, hey Dish. I
that's right.
haven't messed it up. Okay,
You said all the right things. Yes.
perfect. All right. We're on a roll here. So also, does the invoice show how much is being taken from trust? Sorry, this should have been incorporated in the first text. That's fine. No issue with it being in two separate questions. Dish, you might be able to help on this one.
Sure.
You
So
pay invoices from trust, right?
yeah, absolutely. So when you do pay an invoice from trust, basically you do send out a statement to a client, which generally shows that. So when you do send out your trust statements, essentially, or invoice payments, so they're basically done. But your statements should generally show when you send it out to the client from Actionstep itself. And what are the other options
You
we
do. I
have?
think you do have the ability there though, to pay straight to the invoice, right? So if you go
Yes, of
invoice
course.
payment.
Yeah, that's right. So it's in here. So when you click on here, so you do pay an invoice, there's an icon on your trust icon in here. So where you basically show, okay, so we generally need to have an invoice. So if there's an invoice amount and there's a balance, it generally applies the amount to it. And then you do a reason for payment. And then when you click save, this does show up in your trust statement that you basically send out to the client from Actionstep. But this is how you make payment to an invoice from your trust account.
Perfect. Any other questions that we've got there? Those are good questions from you, Brett. Cheers for those. Okay, so Brett's asking, will the amount that you're taking from trust show on the invoice?
Show
Good
on
question.
the invoice. Yes.
Yeah. So does that amount show?
On the invoice, that's actually, so we do payments, no overview. So let me just see if there is an invoice here. So we probably would have to look for ones that have been paid. What we could do, Brett, is, it's quite an interesting question. So we can actually send you a quick email with the screen grab on a sample.
Yeah, I think it
So
shows. I
pretty
think it
confident
shows
it
the
will.
payment. So
Yes.
I think it shows as a payment. So it might pull in the statement, but maybe not on the invoice. But that's we can follow up with that one for you.
That's right.
Yeah. Sorry for not knowing that one there. Any other questions that we've got here? Just wait for another minute to see if there's any other questions that come through. Feel free to ask, don't be shy. Okay, I think it looks like it. If you have any more questions going forward, feel free to reach out. Our team are here to help. If you're within Actionstep and you're using Actionstep, you can actually see there on Dish's screen in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little green button. Can you click on that green button there?
Yep.
Okay, so if you don't know, if you click on that, it opens up a conversation tab and you can just start a new conversation with our support team. So if you've got questions, super easy to get hold of us if you're in the system. Just start a chat with us and our friendly support team are more than happy to assist you with anything that you're stuck on, okay? All right, so yeah, it doesn't look like there's any more questions, but in that case, thank you everyone for attending. We appreciate your time. We hope you get a lot of value out of the system, and yeah, we love hearing from you. So if you've got any questions or anything that you'd like to relay on to us about how you're finding the product, feel free to do so, and we'd love to hear from you. Okay, thanks for joining
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.